Hi everyone, today we're going to go over your final unit test, and I'm going to talk about the things that you need to know for your final unit test as well as what's going to be on the final unit test. Now, like I said in class, this is also going to be the subject for your final exam, so make sure you pay close attention to what I'm about to go over. Now, all of these things that we're going to be talking about come from either your textbook or the handouts given in class. So if you have those handouts, go on ahead and get them out so that you have something to reference. First, we're going to talk about compare. Okay, now when we write a paragraph of comparison, we're going to talk about how things are alike, how things are the same. So compare how things are the same. So first of all, we looked at a lot of different comparative vocabulary words and a lot of comparative transitions and comparative signal words. And I've listed a bunch of them over here if you look to the left of your screen. So all of these, I chose two topics to compare, two broad topics, the state of Texas and the state of Nevada. And so I have Nevada is a state in the U.S. Likewise, Texas is a state in the U.S. So notice I put likewise between two sentences followed by a comma. Also, there is a period between those two sentences. Remember, they're not connected with a comma. So Nevada is a state in the U.S., period. Likewise, comma, Texas is a state in the U.S. And the same thing for similarly. Both of them are used at the beginning of a sentence followed by a comma. Now we also have the phrase both and. So both Nevada and Texas are states in the U.S. We also have the phrase are alike. So we've got the be verb and alike, not just alike. So Nevada and Texas are alike in several ways, not Nevada and Texas alike in several ways. We need to have that be verb. We need to have that helping verb. And then the last one, the same thing, similar to. Nevada is similar to Texas. Now, all of these on this page would make great topic sentences for your paragraphs because they talk about things in a general way. Now you can use some of these in your in your supporting sentences to kind of to support your topic sentence. You can make them more specific, but I mean, if those of you that are wondering, how am I going to write a topic sentence? What can I use to practice? I would practice with these personally. Now, the ones that we're going to look at now are a little bit more specific for more detailed work. So here I've decided to compare the populations of Texas and California, so it's more specific. So I have Texas is as populated as. Okay, so I've got as, adjective as. Then I also have the population of Texas is like the population of California. Once again, I've got that be verb right there. So is like, not like alone. All right, and then I also have Texas has the same population as California. So I'm not just comparing two states generally and saying they are similar. I'm comparing one specific part of each of those topics and telling you that they are alike in that way. Okay, now we're going to look at some sentence patterns of comparison. We did, this was from the handout that I gave you guys. This is from the second set of charts. This is really useful if you have two sentences and you want to combine them. So we've got so and to. These are for sentences that are affirmative or sentences that are not negative. My examples here, Texas is big, comma, and so is Nevada. Texas is big, comma, and Nevada is too. Now that's for a sentence using the be verb. Now if you have a verb other than be, so any verb that's not am, is, are, was, were, be, been, then we're going to go with Texas has many people and so does Nevada. So we're going to change that helping verb from the be to do. And then the fourth one, Texas has many people and Nevada does too. And notice when we put to at the end of the sentence, we're putting the comma in front. Now, if we have a negative sentence, a sentence with no, things are a little bit different. Instead of using so and to, which are affirmative words, we're going to use neither or not either, which are negative words. Here, Texas is not a small state, there's that negative, and neither is Nevada. Once again, take a note, when we look at and, we have the comma right in front because remember, it's still doing its job as a connector. It's still connecting those two sentences together. The next one, Texas is not a small state and Nevada is not either. So if we want to put the contrast word as the subject, we can say we're going to use neither. But if we want to use the topic as the subject of the sentence, we will use either at the end. So same thing with the sentence that has a verb other than be. Texas does not touch California, and subject, neither does Nevada. Now if we want to make Nevada the subject, Texas does not touch California, and Nevada does not either. Okay, so if we want to make the second topic the subject of the sentence, we're going to use either. If we want to make the second topic the object of the sentence, we are going to use neither as our subject, because neither by itself is a negative word. That's why we can't say neither not, because that creates a double negative. Okay, now let's go on ahead and let's talk about contrast. Contrast is where we're talking about the differences between two objects or two topics. So we have a couple of transitions of contrast that we discussed, and the first three that we have, however, on the other hand, and in contrast, all three of those are treated just like likewise and similarly. They both appear at the beginning of the second sentence and they're both followed by a comma. Also take a note here, if you guys look over here, where it says on the other hand, it's on the other hand, not in the other hand. That's a really common mistake that I see a lot of people make. It is on the other hand, not in the other hand. Okay, then we've got some complex sentences here, some subordinating conjunctions with while and whereas. So while Nevada is a state, comma, Canada is a country. Canada is a country being our independent clause, and while Nevada is a state is our dependent clause. Now if we flip the two, Canada is a country whereas Nevada is a state in the US, since we have that dependent clause at the end of that sentence, then we don't have to put a comma there. Now, for those of you that want to use a compound sentence, we can go back, way back to the beginning and still use our friend but. All right, using that compound sentence with but in the middle still works, and it still shows contrast because the word but by itself already indicates contrast, as we already know. So Nevada is a state in the US, comma, but Canada is a country. Now a couple more. Nevada is different from Canada. A very general sentence might be a good idea for a topic sentence. And then finally, unlike Canada, comma, Nevada is a state in the US. So if I were practicing, if you want my advice, what I would do is I'd take these sentences and take the structures and separate all of the words, identify each part of these sentences. Say, okay, this is one topic, this is a second topic, this is the subject, this is a verb. And then rewrite these sentences and plug in different topics. So here I plugged in Texas and Canada, but perhaps you might want to plug in a pen and a pencil. You might want to plug in water and coffee. It's up to you, but that way you can get some good practice in using these structures so that when you have to write a paragraph with them, you have experience in using different types of structures. Like I said in class, it's really important that you can demonstrate that you can write different types of sentences in English. Writing subject, verb, object, simple sentences over and over and over again just shows that that's the only thing that you know how to do, which we've progressed, we've gone forward. We want to show that we have sophisticated ideas and we can convey them and communicate them in a sophisticated manner. Now, a couple more things with comparative adjectives. These are the rules that we talked about in class. I'm going to go over them really briefly. Add ER to adjectives with one syllable. If you have the final consonant is preceded by a vowel, we're going to double it. Okay. Then add IER to adjectives that have two syllables and end in Y. Happy is one word that I'm thinking about. Happier, IER. And then the final one, use more. Use the word more in front of syllables with, in front of adjectives with two or more syllables. So remember those rules. You will have them on the exam. Now let's talk about what's going to be on the test. This is your final test for this unit. Or no, this is your final test for the semester. So for those of you that want to bring up your test grades, this is your last opportunity to do so. So in the test, you will be asked to do a series of things. So I've got the test right here. This is not actually physically the test. This is an old copy, but this is a test that has all of the parts on it. So the first thing that I'm seeing here is you are going to be asked to write a topic sentence for a compare paragraph and a topic sentence for a contrast paragraph. So what that means is you're going to have to read the paragraph, decide if it's compare or contrast, and then write a topic sentence reflecting that. Now, you will be scored on the grammar, you will be scored on your topic and your controlling idea. Remember, your controlling idea is going to be compare or contrast. So make sure you pay attention and make sure you go back and review all of those compare and contrast transition words and signal words. The second thing I see is a list of comparative adjectives, actually a list of adjectives in general. And what I want you to do is show me that you know those comparative adjective rules and you can make them comparative. Now, for this section, yes, spelling is going to count because that shows me that you understand the spelling rules and that you can follow. Do I have to add ER, IER, or just more? Also, making sure that you know when you have to double that final consonant or not. Okay, now the next thing I'm looking at is writing some compare and contrast compound and complex sentences. So let's go back, look at those comparative sentences, look at those contrast sentences, sentences that become compound or complex. You need to be able to know how to write sentences using that particular structure, because I don't want you to graduate from this level without being able to demonstrate to me or the other teachers, hey, I know how to write a complex sentence. Hey, I know how to write a compound sentence. And then, as always on this test, you will also be asked to demonstrate pre-writing, and you will be given two choices for your paragraph prompt. You will choose compare or contrast. You will not choose both. Remember, a paragraph is about one idea and one idea only. You're not going to compare and contrast. You're going to compare or contrast. Choose one. The only time that you can write about compare and contrast is if you're writing an essay, which we are not doing right now. Okay? All right, guys, I hope this review was helpful. If you like reviews like this, give me a thumbs up. And I hope you guys do really well on your exam. Best of luck, and I will see you later. Bye.